process of writing, deploying, testing, and redeploying code is a time-consuming cycle. You might use tools to run Lambda functions locally or rely on unit and integration tests, but these methods don't replicate the actual environment closely enough. With Lambda Live Debugger, you can remotely debug AWS Lambda functions using the same IAM permission. There's no need to redeploy when you make code changes. Lambda Live Debugger connects to your deployed Lambda. It routes requests to your computer and sends responses back to the deployed Lambda. This allows you to debug locally while the system behaves as if the code is running in the cloud with the same IAM permissions. TypeScript is automatically transpiled to JavaScript. In case of code changes, the code is reloaded automatically without deploying or even restarting the debugger. To get started, install Lambda Live Debugger globally or locally using npm. Next, run the wizard by typing the command LLD-W to configure your AWS profile, region, and stage. The wizard creates two files, one to save your configuration and another to set up debugging in Visual Studio Code. Now to start the debugger, press F5 if you're using Visual Studio Code. You can now set breakpoints, step through lines of code, and inspect variables, just like any other local debugging session. Lambda Live Debugger is designed to work seamlessly with a variety of frameworks right out of the box. These include AWS CDK v2, Serverless Framework v3, AWS Serverless Application Model 2, Terraform. If you're using another framework or setup, Lambda Live Debugger can still support it by implementing a simple function in TypeScript, like this. This makes Lambda Live Debugger a versatile tool for debugging, no matter what your development stack looks like. In an ideal scenario, you have your own AWS environment for developing serverless solutions. But if that's not possible due to technical or organizational constraints, or if you want to debug a specific environment, like development, staging, or even production, you can use observability mode. In observability mode, multiple developers can debug the same environment simultaneously. Lambda Live Debugger intercepts incoming requests and sends them to your computer. Your computer's response is ignored, but you can still use the debugger to execute your version of the code. To avoid overloading the system, requests are sampled every 3 seconds by default. Lambda Live Debugger unlocks unmatched speed in serverless development, allowing you to debug and make changes faster than ever. When you make code changes, they're reloaded automatically with no need to redeploy or even restart the debugger. You get the full power of the debugger, set breakpoints, step through lines of code, and inspect variables in real time. Unlike with similar tools, removing and re-adding the debugger doesn't require redeployment, making the process much faster. Switching off debugging mode is just as fast with the simple command LLD-R, and turning it back on takes no time at all. Almost no configuration is needed. The built-in wizard simplifies setup, getting you started quickly. And no matter what framework you're using, Lambda Live Debugger supports limitless configuration options. Unlike other local emulation alternatives, there's no hassle. Even the IAM permissions remain the same as in production. With Lambda Live Debugger, multiple developers can debug the same environment using observability mode, all without disrupting serverless performance. Debug faster, debug smarter.